Hi guys, just before we start I wanted to give a quick shout out to Bunnings. It's like a hardware store, massive hardware store in Australia that sells everything pretty much with regard to DIY, building, that sort of thing. I've been contributing to their Bunnings community workshop page, and it's a page where people can put forth the projects they've done, and it's also like a forum where people can ask you questions and other people can answer them if you have any DIY type of questions. And because I've uploaded on there so much, I hope I haven't annoyed them, but they've sent me a lovely present. They've sent me a gorgeous Christmas card, and handwritten, and that's a lot of writing, thanking me for my contribution this year. And also they have sent me a Bunnings workshop t-shirt, so I don't know whether anyone can get these, like I don't know whether they're for sale. So yeah, I thank you so much for that, Bunnings. I really and truly appreciate it. Thank you for your paint, your mist-tint paint pots, because they've really come in handy this year. So I just want to thank you. We'll get started with the video, but I will put a link down in the description to their community workshop page if anyone wants to go and have a look at that. Probably more specifically for Australia, but I guess, you know, you could go on if you're overseas and have a little look too. So thank you, and we'll get started with the video. And it's true, it did take me 4 months to figure out what to do with this piece, because I had sanded back the front, and I was originally going to sand all the drawer fronts and just either wax or whitewash, that sort of thing. But I really didn't like the timber on it. I don't know what it is. It's very soft timber. If anyone knows, please comment below. And also here what I'm doing is putting the hardware holes in before I paint. Normally this is the very last thing I do, and it sort of stresses me out once I've completely finished the piece and it's perfect, and then I have to start drilling holes into it. And in the past with Kmart handles, I've had a bit of a problem to getting them to fit properly, so I thought I would just do this process first. It's out of the way and I won't have to worry about it. The next process is to clean the drawers. They are so dirty. They weren't like that when I bought them, but they're like that obviously because I've been sanding them back. I'm cleaning them off after I've dusted them off, and I always use sugar soap, and that gets any grease and grime off. Then I'll spray it with water and I will wipe the sugar soap off, and that normally is fine for me. It works and it will clean the piece. The piece has to be cleaned thoroughly because you don't want to paint over any dirt or grime and that sort of thing. The paint will just come off it. I actually changed my mind when I saw the front of the drawer clean, and I thought I'm going to sand all of them because I thought it didn't look too bad. When I sanded this drawer back though, I noticed that there was a bit of, they'd bogged it up and it looked patchy, so I thought no. I went back to my original plan. The original plan is to actually put textured wallpaper on the front of the drawers and also on the sides of the drawers. And I bought this textured wallpaper from Wallpaper Direct. It was, I think, I bought 2 rolls of 10 meters, different patterns. It was $120, I think, for 2 rolls, and that also included the postage. So I thought that was pretty good. And I'm actually just cutting out the wallpaper to fit the front of the drawer. The front of this drawer actually isn't completely rectangle. You can see that it sort of scoops in and out. It's like a sort of you can see there it sort of scoops in and out and it's not completely straight. I didn't worry about that. I thought I'll just measure it at the longest end and the length. I'll cut it out, and then afterwards I'll worry about that and shape it to fit, because I have to sand it back anyway at the sides. I'm using PVA glue to attach the textured wallpaper to the front of the drawer. This works really well. Just keep in mind when you're doing this, make sure you cover all of it, and make sure you cover right up to the ends, right up to the very ends, because I don't, when I put this on the drawer fronts, I do not cover around, like I don't scoop it around and cover the edges. I just put it straight on the front of the drawer. So yeah, it has to be glued on right to the very end. Otherwise, if you don't do that, there's a danger of it peeling off or pulling off, sort of thing, as time goes by. This one wasn't too bad, but the previous one, it was like a floral embossed wallpaper. It did have a lot of bubbles in it, and you have to be careful. Not only that, you do have to be careful that, and I went over it for a long time, pushing it down, making sure it sticks, because sometimes, I don't know whether it's because of the embossing, it doesn't tend to stick down at times, and that is very important. Actually, I just wanted to show you here, when I was doing my wallpaper, I had Better Homes and Gardens on, and she actually was doing up a piece. But the thing with this is she was using British Paints chalk paint, and I've never seen this British Paints chalk paint product before. I went into Bunnings the other day and I had a look at it, and it's only $19.95, and that's really cheap for a chalk paint. That's 500ml. Dulux is almost twice that, and if you go for any other chalk paint, furniture paint, yeah, it's really expensive as well. So I thought this is a good alternative if you don't want to make your own chalk paint and you don't want to spend a fortune buying a different brand of chalk paint. And yeah, this piece came up really well for her. She actually put a arch back on this, attached an arch back on it. It was really pretty. But anyway, back to me. I'm just cutting out the rest of the wallpaper for the drawer fronts, and I will do that for the rest of the drawers. So there's 3 more drawers to do. You can sort of see here a bit better how I go right to the end. Even at some points I think I go over to the edge when I'm putting the glue on, just to be sure. So here I went a bit crazy. I'm excited about this wood filler I bought recently from Bunnings. It's an indoor-outdoor wood filler, and it does set really well. It sets really hard and it does the job. And I'm just filling in little holes. You can see the holes on each corner. What I thought I would do though, and I really wished I hadn't, is to actually cover all of the you can see there are lines in the top, all of the grooves. I thought, because I have seen other people do this and then they sand it back and it's nice and smooth, and I thought I'm going to do that too, because I got nice new wood filler. But it really was a bit of a waste of time and effort, and it also caused another problem, and I'll talk about that a bit later. So now I'm just going to apply the PVA glue again. I'm going to put some more textured wallpaper on the side of each of the drawers. So what I do to get it nice and smooth and even, I sanded back. I get a sanding block and sanded back. It appeared here though when I sanded it back, I think I'd glued some of it down, like some of the glue I think went over the edge. So I decided to, instead of just sand it, I could have sanded it as it was without cutting the excess off, but I thought I would cut it off. Also another reason too, I just didn't want to risk in sanding it, you're sort of pulling at it, and I didn't want it to tear the paper on the drawer front, just in case. But when I did sand it, I'm very careful sanding it there. I think it's actually sped up. I go so slow that when I speed things up, it looks like I'm just going at my normal speed. And it was funny because once before I'd sped it up, I'm thinking, is this actually in slow motion? Have I put it in slow motion? But it's just me being so slow. This was really satisfying doing this actually. I actually really enjoyed it, and it worked out really well. But this is what I meant by a lot of other people will not stop at the edge. They will curve the wallpaper around, so it's sort of stuck to the underside of the drawer as well. Yeah, I think this is easier, and I think it looks a lot neater on the inside of the drawer too, but that's just me. I did the same thing with the sides, just on the edge where the wallpaper sort of is on the corner of the piece, but it was fun. It didn't really need all that much doing to it there. I really shouldn't have bothered doing this because all I really needed to do, as it turns out, was probably just sand it down anyway. It really didn't do much to the top, and you know, well, lesson learned, I won't do it next time. So the base of this came off. I think I had it actually glued on. It's like a foam base, and it came off. I really do need a new sander. So what I'm going to do, get it done. I'll try to use this one that I used to use, this Azito, and see how we go with that. I've just got to sand the top of it, so hopefully that should all be okay. That orbital sander I've had, I must have bought it just after we got married, so that would be over 30 years now, and it was in the shed. David found it. I don't even know how it was still in there. So that was a Ryobi one, and that, you know, so it just shows you how good Ryobi is. I was in Bunnings today and I had a look at some sanders, so there's such a wide price variation. Like I think they started around about $40 or $50 and they go up from there, so knowing me, I'll probably just get the cheapest one.
So again, I'm using sugar soap, and then I'll wipe that off and I'll spray it with water and wipe it over again. I always tape off because, you know, then I can, without any worry, just go ahead and paint and not worry about any mess, because I am really messy when I paint. So that's why I do that. And as you can see here, when I sanded back, I had to sand back a lot to get that wood filler off because it set really hard. I sanded right back to the actual wood, and that caused a bit of a problem. I noticed a bit of bleed through there, unfortunately, because I'd sanded back to the actual wood. It was tannin coming through. And also, after the first coat of primer, I noticed that there was a little bit of glue on the edges, and on the one foot there was some little holes that I just filled up with wood filler again, and I sanded that back too. You tend to notice all of these things after you put your primer on. But yeah, on the top I thought it was a bit of a problem with the bleed through there. So what I did was I actually bought some enamel, oil-based stain blocker. And I've never used this before, but it will be good to have. I didn't use much of it, but it did the job, and I've got it now. So that will come in handy, I'm sure, for projects in the future. So this was a delivery that came in one day, which was really great. It was from a pet store, and it's calcium carbonate, and you use it to make chalk paint, and I was really pleased with it. Getting it from a pet food store, I didn't know how good it would be, if it would be fine or it would be chunky, but it's really good. I normally use talcum powder, but I haven't been able to find that in baby powder or powders anymore. I don't know, they don't seem to make it, but I watched a lady use this, and a lot of people do, and the recipe she gave me, or she was saying, was 2 tablespoons of calcium carbonate to 1 tablespoon of water. I did have to add more water, it was just too dry, to 1 cup of paint. Now these are my sample pots I always use, and I get these from Bunnings, $2 for a 250 ml pot, and 250 ml will just do 2 side tables, which is amazing. But I found that 2 tablespoons of the calcium carbonate, and it doesn't look like much, and when I put it in I thought, this is not enough, it's not going to do anything. I actually found it was way too much for me. It was way too chalky and rough. Next time I would only use 1 tablespoon of it in the paint to 1 cup of paint. So 1 tablespoon to 1 cup of paint. And I did watch another lady, and that's the ratio she used too, and saying that it was great coverage, like it did cover up really, really well. All in all, I had to do 2 coats on this piece, which is pretty good because I normally do 3 coats, although on the top of it I did do 3 coats because after the second coat I thought, I'm going to sand it back, this is way too rough, I put too much calcium carbonate in. When I did, it went all streaky, it looked all patchy, so luckily I had enough paint just to go over the top, so there was 3 coats on the top in the end. Not much left, but there were a few little touch-up bits that I noticed and I used it for that. I actually added a bit of water to it. When I painted with the spray paint, the stain blocker, I did overspray a little bit. In this drawer was the worst. On the top there you can see the paint on the top of the edge, so I took that wallpaper piece off and I recut it so I'd have enough to actually paste it at the top and fold it down over to the side of the drawer. I really like putting the wallpaper, this pretty wallpaper, on the side of the drawers. I've been doing that lately. Normally I put decals on, or I will put the wallpaper in the bottom of the drawer, which I would have done on this as well, but I never had enough left of that, so I did that on each of the drawers on the outside. And remember when I drilled in the holes before I'd actually started? Well, it makes it so much easier now to make sure the holes are actually in the right place. And yeah, it was a pleasure to do this because I knew that it would all be okay and the handles would work really well, and I wasn't going to ruin the front of the drawer by drilling in the wrong place, which I sort of have done before. I've learnt my lesson. These handles actually from Kmart too. I bought them, I think they were changing their stock, so $2 for a pack of 2, which was crazy, $1 each, and they're quite heavy metal handles, so they're really good quality. I don't like the really hard round floor. Well, I don't even know if they're floor protectors, but a lot of older furniture has. I use these like rubber ones, and they create such a solid base for the furniture to sit, and it doesn't seem to slide, and it won't harm the floor if it's like a wooden floor. And if you've watched my videos before, you know I always use the Glitz beeswax, and that will give the piece a really beautiful matte sheen, and it just really does finish the piece off. It looks beautiful. And also my point of difference a little bit too is I always make some coasters to match the piece. Also, you know, to protect the top if they put a coffee cup or a mug or something, a hot drink on the top of it as well. But I think it's a nice little touch and it's a nice little bonus. And yeah, they go down really well. And I'm just covering, these were a packet of 16 plywood coasters, craft coasters. It came out for $3, so they're great value as well. Thank you everyone so much for watching my video and listening to me rave on. Thank you once again to Bunnings Workshop for giving me the beautiful t-shirt and Christmas card. This is the final piece. I've advertised it and I've had one inquiry today actually, so fingers crossed it might sell. I'll see you guys all in next week's video. Have a great week and bye for now. So this is what I got yesterday from Wallpaper Direct, embossed paintable wallpaper. And so now I'm going to open it and see. I got 2 rolls because I wanted to make the most of postage. If I'd have bought 2 rolls separately, it would have costed twice the amount in postage. So, well, wow.